Hello, welcome back to my channel. I haven't done a reading like this in a while and was just sort of inspired to do it. And I'd already pulled cards before I kind of made the decision, I'll film this. So forgive me, I know some people do enjoy kind of watching the pulling of cards and yeah, but I haven't pulled any clarifiers. Well, actually, that's not true. I pulled one clarifier, but it was already really, really powerful energy, really interesting messages were coming through. So I felt it was really important to share. So I got some really interesting messages before beginning from the romance. I guess it's not called the Romance Angels deck. I forget what this deck is called, but anyways. Message of transformation. So your relationship with one another is about to deepen. Love conquers and transforms all things. I feel like that's a pretty important message at this time. We also got trust. So transformation, again, like mirroring, transformation occurs through acceptance. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. I feel that there's some fear in the collective, and this is coming from both sides. Some fear that it's over, some fear that we can't fix this, we can't redeem this, we can't make this right. And again, the energy is very interchangeable between divine masculine and divine feminine, so it's very hard to tell where it's stemming from, who it's coming from. It kind of goes back and forth. But the irony is it's definitely not, that's not true energy, that's ego fear energy, because both counterparts are very much so wanting this transformation and wanting a renewal. It just is taking both to face their fears. And for the masculine, the 3D twin, it's very much in taking action in the 3D, which is a big fear of his. And the feminine's fear is, wasted time hanging on to something that just maybe will never come back around, and just kind of feeling like she's placed between a rock and a hard place. Her ego wants to move on, walk away, but spirit's like, no, wait, you can't. And that doesn't feel fair, because then it's like, well, I'm just waiting for this person to get their courage. So it's kind of that sort of energy right now in the collective. It kind of feels like a very heavy energy. There's a lot of sadness. But the interesting thing is, the minute I started pulling cards, I saw that was just like the top layer of kind of the fear. And what's actually underneath it is a lot of depth of love. We also got my beloved. I love this card. Though we may be physically apart, spiritually we are always united, for love transcends space and time and nothing is missing, as well as romance, Cupid's arrow strikes. Okay, so this is kind of the general sort of energy theme of this reading, and I asked a very specific question. I asked around kind of the divine masculine's conscious mind and what's going on as far as what his plan is, because spirit has let us know over and over and over again that it is not the divine feminine's move, right? It is not the divine feminine's move to take any action at this time towards masculine, to she is meant to be in her Empress energy. She is meant to sit and receive and open up and allow the divine justice and blessings to come through, while masculine is coming to terms with his refusal of this divine connection and having to do the healing around why he turned away. So that all being said, the question I asked is, what is his conscious plan? What is he thinking he needs to do or he can do? Because in a previous reading, it was very clear that that's what he wants. So this is kind of like an additional reading, but the messages were really interesting, so I wanted to come on. Bottom of the deck, we have the Empress. I just saw below that is the Wheel of Fortune. So the divine feminine, the Empress energy, is in his heart, mind, soul, everywhere. Can't escape, can't walk away. First card out, we have the Two of Swords. And it's funny because as I was shuffling before this card even came out, I was hearing, I just don't know. It was like, what is his conscious plan? I don't know. I don't know what to do. So this is a big part of it. Obviously, Two of Swords is not major arcana. Two of Swords is kind of a small, I don't want to say small, but it can definitely be a burden. It can definitely be a barrier energetically, but it's not like a major arcana card, and it's not even like a court card where it has like a very heavy sort of energy. So this can absolutely be transformed and transcended. But when I went to clarify it, we're getting the Seven of Cups. So this lets me know that he's in a lot of illusion and fantasy. It's almost like it's easier to keep the divine feminine in dream world. It's easier to imagine what life could be like than it is to take actions, because when that person is face in front of you and you know that there are truths that need to be spoken and, things that need to be revealed, that's a lot scarier than just staying in this sort of wishy-washy. I also feel that this quite literally translates to, do I call? Do I show up at her work? Do I send a letter? You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of immature. It's sweet, but it's immature because it's like, it's somebody who still is kind of a little bit disconnected from their soul, their heart, because they're thinking that there's something they need to do versus be. Yeah, so it's very emotional. There's a lot of emotion coming off of that card, but it's coming from this place of like in and out, wishy-washy, back and forth. And the question, the in and out and the indecision isn't around reaching out. It's around how. How do I do this? A lot of time has passed. I've waited. I was breadcrumbing, because bottom of the deck for our clarifying deck is the Six of Pentacles. So there's a deep awareness for the masculine that he was breadcrumbing, that he wasn't giving the full cup, that he wasn't giving. He just wasn't giving. And there has been a lot of healing and pain felt around that. So now it's kind of like, it's almost like when it's like the pressure, right? It's like, I know the truth now. I can't play naive. So I know he's putting even more pressure on himself than he normally would, because of all the healing and the realizations and the awareness that has occurred for divine masculine. And by the way, I am very aware the divine masculine can be a woman, so it's not about gender, it is energy. So I just refer to them as he and her because it's easier. But please just know that. Okay, the second card out we have is the King of Swords. So I'm gonna be clarifying. I'm gonna get like second layer on all of this. Yeah, oh boy. This is what I was thinking it was. Okay, so King of Swords. This is a man who takes action, man or woman. This is a person who takes action, who is very strong, doesn't bullshit, okay? Gets straight to the point, reveals, shares the truth. So divine masculine knows that he needs to come in with this energy, okay? Needs to come in and be ready to speak truth. But to clarify it, we're getting the Seven of Swords. So this is deception, this is lies, this is the energy that the divine masculine has previously been in. You know, for a long time he was in this energy with himself, deceiving himself, and he is no longer really, Spirit's not allowing him to deceive himself, because bottom of the deck we have the High Priestess. So the intuition is very dead on and very knowing. He knows what he's being told. He knows what he needs to do. Below that I just peeked. It's the Ace of Swords. So this is all about truth and clarity. So he's had the truth and clarity, but it's very, very scary for him to imagine speaking his full truth and putting all his cards out there. So there's a part of him that is like, consciously weighing back and forth with that Two of Swords. Can I share this much? Do I have to share it all? Can I just reveal this? Can I leave this? Can I, you know what I mean? That kind of like going back and forth. Again, the full healing hasn't occurred for this masculine, you know, because that energy, if it was integrated, it's pain also, I will say. Okay, that's interesting. This wanted to come out in the reverse. This is our clarifier. So we have the Chariot. The Chariot, again, somebody that takes action, somebody that moves forward. Major Arcana. So this is very strong energy, okay? This is like spirit guided. This is someone that's moving with the divine. This is someone that wherever they're going, wherever they're heading, there will be victory. It's like a guaranteed victory. Moving with spirit. but it's clarified by the Magician, and it almost came out in the reverse. It didn't quite. So I'm going to kind of touch on both of those potential energies that could be. So when it's in the upright, it's, yeah, this is so consciously he's manifesting this. He's manifesting the courage, the strength, the clear path, the way forward, the decisive action, okay? Because part of the issue has been not being indecisive around how to take this action. When this comes up in the reverse, this is a darker energy. This is a manipulative energy. This is a very fear-based devil type energy. This is somebody who is very controlling, very manipulative, needs to have it their way. It can often be like dark magic energy, actually, okay? So this could very well be related to a karmic situation. So for some, this divine masculine may be feeling tied down from taking this action because of whatever situation they are leaving or they're currently still in that is very toxic. So I feel like that's a split 50-50 for those, for that message. Bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Cups. So this is unconditional, abundant love. This is like the deepest love. So this Chariot here, consciously, this divine masculine is very aware of the love and wants to move towards that love, but is either getting stopped up by a darker energy that they have the power to overcome, and that's what Spirit is guiding them to do, or they're still in this kind of manifesting energy, trying to call it in, and the reason it hasn't come is because there's like a lack of clarity. But there is a lot of devil energy around that, this fear of like, I've waited too long, maybe it's over. So whether it's a person or a situation, it also is just devil energy. Oh, that's interesting. We got two clarifiers. Okay, so we have Knight of Pentacles. So consciously, this divine masculine is working towards it, okay? But it's slow and steady. It's not moving very quickly. It's pretty slow. And the slowness is coming from a Nine of Wands, bottom of the deck. And the Nine of Wands is all about kind of a battle-wounded soldier. Someone who's fearful, someone who's a little timid. There's a little bit of trepidation. But the clarifier is the Ten of Cups. So this masculine knows that this is what he wants and what he's working towards. The Ten of Cups is the end-all, be-all. It's the emotional fulfillment. It's family, love, children, you know, just, yeah. One of the most beautiful cards in the emotional space. Also coming with the Emperor, though. So to me, this is someone that has been trying to kind of split their time between work, ego-based pursuits, money, abundance, pentacles, and not having quite learned yet how to harmonize, and that these two energies actually go hand in hand. They don't need to be in conflict with one another. So I do feel like that's a very specific message. There's like this conscious desire. It's like a working energy, diligent, trotting energy. But the Nine of Wands on the bottom of the deck is kind of a defensive energy, holding back, you know, a little fearful, okay, from whatever karmic situation. Because this divine masculine, I mean, they have been through a lot. They've invited into their space, their harmony, their space, their worlds, their company, their bodies, their bed. They have invited very, very dark energy into their lives, okay, whether they were conscious of it or not. This is kind of what they're realizing, and this is the repercussions of it, because that energy is sitting on you and it affects you and it changes you. It slowly changes you over time. And if you've been inviting this type of energy in your life for a very long time, and the energy stays the same, it just shows up in different people. So it doesn't even matter. It's not about a specific person. It's the energy. And this has worn at this person. This has really worn them down and gotten them away from their heart, away from their emotional fulfillment, which is why this person has such an inner battle between the Emperor energy and this Ten of Cups, and not knowing how to, you know, merge the two. They haven't really seen an example of that either. So consciously, there's a little bit of an inner battle going on there, knowing that the Ten of Cups is what they want and where they're going, but a little bit timid around it. And then this Emperor is also someone who can be a little bit ego-based, okay? There's a higher expression of the Emperor. Of course, every card has kind of its lower expression and its higher expression. But this divine masculine, is more in a lower expression of the Emperor. Okay, Ten of Wands. Burdens. Feeling really weighed down, feeling really, in the conscious mind of this divine masculine, there's a lot of fear around how to make this work. How do I, knowing that there's something they need to do, but there's a broken heart here, Three of Swords. There's a lot of pain, and this is the thing that's really needing to be healed, and it has been, and it's almost like this burden is so heavy because of this broken heart over here. And anytime we're overly emotional, or on the flip side, if we're avoiding our emotions and we're suppressing and we're pushing them down, they actually leak out, and then it's an unhealthy expression of emotion, okay? Which is funny because it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Someone that's afraid of emotions and doesn't feel them and suppresses them and pushes them down, then will oftentimes have an experience of them leaking out, and then they are in their low form. So they seem volatile, it seems out of control, it seems crazy, and it's funny because then this person is like, well, yep, see, that's why I was afraid of emotion, that's why I don't feel, that's why I stay away from them. But it's like, no, if you would feel them, the authentic, not the authentic, but if you would just allow yourself to feel them as they're designed to be felt, instead of being afraid of them and running from them, you wouldn't have these overt expressions of just volatile, whatever, ickiness. Okay, so bottom of the deck with this Ten of Wands and Three of Swords is the Two of Pentacles. So this is a divine masculine who's juggling back and forth, not very balanced, hasn't found their inner harmony yet. There's a lot of fear in this energy is what I'm picking up on. But it's a burden. It's a huge, huge burden to them, to not be moving forward, to not be taking this step towards the divine feminine at this time, because they're afraid that they've lost, they're afraid they've waited too long. The things that they're telling themselves in their head, the battle, the inner battle, it's just, imagine, like, it's so uncomfortable. I don't know if there's divine masculines watching, but if you're a divine feminine watching, like, just feeling empathy for that energy. Like, yes, it's hard for us to imagine because it's just not how we move about in the world. And like, it's just not how we move about in the world. So it can be hard to put ourselves in those shoes, but perhaps at one time you have, and perhaps your inner masculine has gotten yourself into these places at times. So just having empathy for how heavy that is, that feeling of having a broken heart, but not really being able to feel it, or kind of trying to avoid it, and then feeling this burden, and just, it's a lot. Okay, so we have the Ace of Cups in reverse, and this is exactly what I was talking about with this erratic emotion, volatile emotion, not being able to control the emotion, and feeling pretty, it's like not offering that love to yourself, feeling unworthy of the love. There's this love here and this desire to share it and to give it, but this divine masculine in his conscious mind is still kind of avoiding. So this is sadness. This is a lot of pain here and disappointment. And it's like these emotions are coming forward now. Like, whatever's been trying to be repressed for a long time has kind of been let loose, and they can't control it. There's a lack of control over the emotions, and the control of the emotions is what kept them feeling safe and kept them feeling empowered. So there's a lack of safety. There's a fear. And it's a necessary ego death, and it's a necessary part in the spiritual journey, in this process, this alchemy. They're alchemizing, they're transforming, they're learning how to come into harmony and balance within themselves, within their emotions. And this is a necessary step on the path, but it's painful. And so in the conscious mind, there's a real desire and a passion that's kind of overwhelming, this Knight of Wands. So, the wands are about, can be about passion and action, and having that on the bottom of the deck with our clarifier is letting me know that consciously they want to rush in, but they also don't want to be hasty and have their impatience be the thing that moves them forward. If this is the energy that they're in, this is going to affect the divine feminine. This is going to leak over. This is not somebody that's balanced or healthy or ready to give that cup of love. This is somebody that is kind of a mess, honestly, emotionally. Clarified King of Pentacles in reverse. So this is a definite lack of worthiness. This is somebody who feels like they're, this divine masculine could have suffered some loss financially. Pentacles could have lost, I have to grab my water. Could have suffered some loss when it comes to home, business, money, whatever their ego was telling them, whatever they had in their life that was ego-based, that was very much like, yeah, you're on top of the world because you have this, that type of energy. There's been a loss here. So this is a, I mean, we didn't get this card, but this is a tower for this divine masculine. Spirit is really trying to get them to learn this lesson, that you are not what you have. Okay? The emotions really control what you have and how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself. So yeah, healing this, and also healing this. This feels very connected to that Emperor energy of a person who, is putting more value on work and doing, and then Spirit's like, that's not it. So we're gonna have to bottom you out here so that you can start to see that that's not what this is about. Yeah. Okay. Page of Cups. Page of Cups clarified by the Queen of Swords. Hilarious. Okay. So, last thing I wanted to say about that, because we did have the Knight of Wands on this energy, this divine masculine wants to reach out, wants to move forward. There's like this burning desire. It's a magnetizing pull. So if you're feeling like divine feminine and you're watching this, that it's over and this person is just a lost cause, know that in the heart that is, and even in the mind, right? Because this is a conscious reading. We're talking about where they're at consciously. It's all of their own shit in the way, okay? And I know that's frustrating because we've been in that place for a very long time. The divine feminine has just been hearing that over and over again. But there's always pieces that you can refine. There's always work that you can do. And however you're reacting to this information, however this is making you feel, if you're triggered, that's your work. There's something for you to still do. We ultimately want to get to a point where we can't be triggered anymore. So if you're getting towards that place, then kudos, good for you. And the main trigger you'll probably have to be working on is just this time and patience and feeling like, what's going on? that sort of thing. The main trigger for the divine feminine, for most divine feminines at this point, I would say, is really around the passing of the time, the crickets, and the not feeling like you have the control, like you can't just, like Spirit isn't advising the divine feminine to go and take action and move forward and make plans and do this and just taking control back. That's not where they want your energy, and that can be very triggering. You feel like you're not in control of your own life. Okay, little tangent to the divine feminine, because I'm focusing a reading fully on the divine masculine just because this energy was so interesting and I feel like there was so much to share. But as always, I really want us all to be taking responsibility and accountability and not being in this victim mentality around, or even like shaming or blaming the divine masculine, because this was all set up. The divine always has their hands on this. The divine is working through this. This is their lesson. This is what they need to work on. You've had many lessons as well. And it's almost like okay, I'm going off on a tangent. This reading is going to be longer than I thought. But it's almost like there's this thing that I've noticed with masculine and feminine energy. And this is even not twin flames. Masculine energy really needs feminine energy. They really do. I mean, and you can see this just in like men and women. Like women and men, when they're healthy, a healthy man is healthier when he has a partner, a feminine. And again, not gender specific, but feminine energy, masculine energy. So whoever carries that masculine energy, they're initiated, they're inspired by the feminine energy. They really need it. They do. And I don't mean like they need it like they're not complete or whole without it, but I observe this. And so there's a fear, and some masculine energies resist that because it's very scary, right? So they can really resist that their whole life, and that's where we have this like player energy and whatever, but they're always staying surface level. They're never going fully deep. But when we have quotes about this, what I'm talking about, like behind every powerful man is a wonderful woman, and I kind of hate that quote, but you get it. You get what I'm saying. Whereas feminine energy, actually, she can be an island all on her own. She can do this inner work all on her own. She can really, go through. He doesn't necessarily instigate her. I'm not saying that he doesn't inspire her, but it's like when it comes to the energies within us, we always say the feminine leads, the feminine goes first. So on the transformation journey, on the journey of the Heroes Gamos journey, there has to be a feminine initiation first, and then after that, then there's a masculine initiation, and then they're in communication and harmony. But if you're just creating for masculine energy without having done the feminine work, you're creating a surface level life, and everything you're attracting to you is not quite the full deal. It's not what you really could have. And we see that a lot in our patriarchy. We see, very powerful people who are only in their masculine energy, and they seem to have everything, but they're miserable and they're unhappy. And you wonder why. It's because they're disconnected from their feminine. They haven't gone through that feminine initiation because we don't value that. We don't teach that. We just don't value that in our society. Not yet. We're moving that way, of course, beautiful, but we just don't value that. So, people skip it. People skip it because it's harder. The feminine initiation is harder. But what I see in masculine energy, like if you're embodying a masculine energy, it tends to be meeting a feminine. Meeting, some form of a feminine teacher, being instigated, getting your heart broken, having a complicated relationship with your mother, whatever it is, some form of a feminine energy is what interacts with the masculine and sets them on their path. And I went off on this tangent just because we see that in this twin flame journey. It's like the feminine did her work before the masculine was even awake, truly, right? A lot of the feminines did their work before even meeting their masculine. And their masculine was just kind of doing the surface level work, They were slowly doing some of it, but most masculines, there's a reason they call them the unawakened twin. And again, I don't love that, but there's a reason they call them that, because they don't really wake up until they interact with their feminine. And then they realize that any spiritual work they'd done prior, or anything that they thought that they had accomplished or figured out, they realize, oh shit, I got to scratch all that. And that's what they resist, because they're like, you're basically showing me, by doing nothing, just by being you're showing me that everything I thought is actually an illusion, right? And the feminine is because maybe she lives more in the 5D, because she's more connected to spirit through her intuition, and the feminine energy is just naturally more connected in that way. Maybe that's why. I don't think it's it's not again, not gender, and it's also not one energy is better than the other, but there's just this difference in that, and there's something really beautiful in that as well. If you think about it, it's really beautiful. And I think it's through this process that the masculine learns to honor the feminine. The masculine learns to really, really celebrate the feminine, both within himself and without. And it's not until he honors and embraces that feminine energy within him that he can truly celebrate and give to the feminine outside of him, to really just give this depth of gratitude. And then he can become what the masculine is meant to be, which is this protector, this nurturer, this giver, this giving to the feminine in that way, right? And the feminine receives. So wow, what a tangent I just went on. I feel like I can't even label this video a tarot reading because I just went on in a whole transmission there. Okay, let me go back to the cards. So, Page of Cups. This is oftentimes emotional communication, apology, clarified by the Queen of Swords. So this masculine is a little bit afraid. He's feeling like a page. She's sitting there on her throne as a queen, and not only is she a queen, but this is the badass queen. This is the queen with the sword. Okay, this is the queen that will cut through any bullshit, cut through any noise, and can see right through all illusion. So he's a little bit of afraid to approach this queen. This is how he's seen the divine feminine, okay? Very powerful, very all-knowing, and very no nonsense, right? And this could be because of how you guys have split the last time you had contact, the last time you were around each other. He knows what he did. He knows that there's a fear there. Wow, Four of Pentacles clarifying Four of Pentacles. Yeah. Okay, so this masculine is still sitting there. There's a lot of themes here around this 3D energy, this blockage. So this is a person sitting in there. They're terrified. Look at the look on her face. She's so scared. She's got her pentacles. She's hiding out. She's got vultures all around her. There's a fear. There's a fear to come out of the cave. There's a fear to move forward. It's inner conflict. It's anxiety. And so this masculine has so much fear to step onto a new path, to step into a new way of being, a new way of seeing the world, a new way of seeing relationship. He still is caught up in this idea that I have to have something to give. I have to have something for this person to like me. This person's not really going to like the real me, so I have to have some form of a pentacle, and I'm barely holding on here to these pentacles. They're leaving. They're gone. I don't even know, 5 of Wands, bottom of the deck. Okay, so inner conflict, could be outer conflict. And this was hilarious because, to clarify, we got the 4 of Pentacles again, so it's just really hitting that message home there. And then we also have the 10 of Swords. So the 10 of Swords is pain, really, really painful ending. Feeling like the way that you guys parted, the way that things ended, the last things were spoken could have been very, very painful. Things were said that were not meant. And there's a deep, deep fear to make it right. There's a lot of anxiety. There's an apology that needs to happen here. Both parties know it, but there's a fear. Okay. King of Cups. This is the masculine who feels all the feels all the emotion, the depth of emotion in his heart. It's big. It's big love, big emotion, but is usually a little afraid to share. It's a little afraid to come forward, a little afraid to let those guards down and be vulnerable. But it's clarifying the 3 of Wands. So what is this masculine consciously thinking? He knows he needs to be brave. He knows he needs to take action. He needs to ascend. The 3 of Wands is my ascension card. So it's somebody ascending. It's someone evolving past whatever that layer is they've been stuck, whatever that boundary, whatever that burden. Let's just remind ourselves of this last energy, right? So this, ascending past this. The emotions are our guidepost. The emotions guide us home. They really do. They really can lead the way. And so when he relies on the truth of his heart, it guides him forward on this ascension path. But when he doesn't, that's when he gets stopped up. Wow, we just got the King of Cups again. Okay, so Temperance here. So this is a divine masculine who's buying his time, biding time, okay? Time is a big theme here. Working with inner guidance, inner knowing, working with the angels, the higher realm, to gain a new perspective, okay? Hanged Man. Wanting to find a new perspective, wanting to transcend a lot of this energy we've already read in this reading, wanting to be able to transcend it. Because there's a knowing that the new perspective is this knowing that you are their 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles is all of it. It's the merging of the two. Earlier in this reading, we were talking about the battle between the emotional well-being and the emotional desire and the physical, tangible, money, wealth, whatever desire. And the 10 of Pentacles is all of it. The 10 of Pentacles is you have all of it. And that is always divinely blessed, okay? The divine gifts that to us. A lot of people, like I said, only have the Pentacles. They don't have the 10 of Cups. But you and the twins are here to teach the world how to combine both, how to have both. This King of Cups knows that as well. But this King of Cups is feeling very left out in the cold, and he or she knows that they put themselves there. Okay. We have the Hierophant here. So, yeah, this is the teacher. Oh, wow. Okay. This is the person who taught you. Okay, so this divine feminine taught the masculine what true love is, taught them how to love, and now their conflict is how can I even compare, or how can I don't want to say how can I compete with that, because obviously you don't need to compete with that masculine, but how do I measure up to that? And it's also this reckoning of like all the old ways of being have been in direct conflict to real love. So the Hierophant is a high spiritual commitment. It's a deep, deep commitment, and somebody who is very wise spiritually, somebody who guides, somebody who teaches, somebody who leads, somebody who knows, and is very working in tandem with the divine. So all he wants to do is work with you. 3 of Pentacles, come together with this divine feminine. Be this romantic knight in shining armor, Knight of Cups energy, the romantic offer, the romantic proposal, just really giving that cup of love. But he's in a wait and see, watching, trying to learn. So this could very well be a masculine who is learning at this time, researching, learning, working on their spiritual journey, working, learning from you, Divine Feminine. I'm really getting. So by watching you, by observing you, this masculine has learned a lot. And it's kind of, sometimes there's like those people who stay the perpetual student because they never feel quite ready, and that's just a self-worth thing. It's kind of an imposter syndrome thing. I'm getting a little bit of that from this energy, where, because our question was, how is he consciously going to make a change? What is he going to do? So he's thinking, this person is like, I'm just going to stay in this energy. Like, I need to learn. I really want to do this. I'm going to do this. I know that's going to happen. But this person is like way up there. They've learned all this. They've gotten all this. So now I just need to like sit here and I need to watch, and I need to kind of like, this is spying energy, as a lot of you know. So observing you, learning from you, and staying in this perpetual student, never quite feeling ready, never quite feeling like they can take the leap. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Wands. So that's where this energy is building up to. And it feels like there's going to be some form of a crescendo. There's going to be some form of a like tipping point that will need to happen, that is going to look like a tower, some form of spiritual, the Wheel of Fortune is here, in the bottom of our original deck, and the Knight of Cups again. So there's something that's going to push them over the edge, because that's all they want. They're just back and forth, and there's healing that's still occurring. Okay, last card we have is the Emperor. Yeah, there's that devil energy. Okay, so, so much of this energy is like back and forth. It's like push, pull, yes, no. Should I go? Should I stay? Stay, go. Okay. Like so much of this. So the overall general message is a masculine who is very, very caught in between. And that's what's causing all the burden. That's what's causing all the pain. Because they're like, I'm worthy. I deserve this. I claim this. I'm not. I can't have this. I've ruined it. It's over. I'm going to go and communicate. I'm going to be truthful and honest. Oh no, I can't tell the full truth because it's not safe, because, I'm going to let go of these pentacles and this fear and everything that's stopping me. No, I have to keep this. I have to, right? So it's a very, very back and forth, and a lot of illusion, right? Like a lot of in and out. Bottom of the deck is the Hermit. So this Hermit energy, it's almost like they are being kept in this Hermit until they can fully transmute that back and forth, that push-pull. Because that's kind of been the pattern. That's the karmic cycle. That's the cycle that's trying to end and close here. A masculine who comes in to make sure you're still there, but doesn't give you the full cup, kind of deceives you, breadcrumbs you, and then disappears again. And then, time passes and then comes back in, whatever. Are you still here? That's essentially what's going on. Are you still here? Do you still care about me? Are you still in my life? No? Okay, you are? Okay, great. I gotta go. Bye. That's essentially the cycle that we've been in for so long. And Spirit, the divine, is trying to close out that cycle. Spirit is trying to end that cycle. And that's kind of the lingering energy. And so now the masculine is awake. Now the masculine knows. He sees his behavior, his past behavior, for what it is. He feels awful, feels terrible, doesn't really know how to fix it. That's what we're getting. So last card, Emperor, okay? So the Emperor, divine masculine, needs to deliver this divine justice, this spiritual divine justice. He is getting this message over and over again in his intuition, in his knowing. That's where all the burden comes from. That's where all the pain comes from. But there is a devil energy that is prohibiting him from moving forward. And I would say the divine, because the divine is like, when you still have this devil energy attached to you, I can't have you going in. I can't have you going in and potentially starting this cycle over again. Because that's what this cycle has been. Every time he's come in, he's been called to, he's been magnetized to, he's been drawn to the feminine, but he's had this energy which has kept him from truth, which has kept him from being able to show up as a divine masculine. And, with this Emperor energy, the devil energy is oftentimes, it's like this, this is an energy of a person that's very closed, okay? Expressionless almost. Okay, very, the word just escaped me, but it's a perfect word to explain it. I'll try and just word it. Somebody who, you know, is you can't really tell what's going on underneath the surface. You know, they just keep it very closed. Okay, but that actually comes from, it's that patriarchal. Here we go. It's that societal, like, men can't show emotion, men can't show vulnerability. Emotion is vulnerability, and that's weakness. It's that type of energy. That's what this emperor can represent, and that's this devil energy. So there's a part of him who wants to come forward, knows he needs to be vulnerable, knows he needs to tell the truth, knows he needs to wear his heart on his sleeve, but that goes against everything he's been taught. That goes against everything that he's kind of been telling himself, showing himself, what the world has been showing him, what his past partners have shown him, you know, because this masculine could have had partners in the past where, you know, he did share his heart, or perhaps he did allow himself to be vulnerable, and then he was manipulated or taken advantage of. You know, so a lot of self-sabotage. So this is kind of where the energy's at. I don't feel the need to pull any outcomes or clarifiers, because I really feel like this energy is so heightened and so dense at this moment that I almost can guarantee you that we're about to hit a crescendo, like a tipping point. Something is coming, and it feels like it could be coming this week. But I just wanted, I don't know, I was really curious about the consciousness, because, you know, we spend a lot of time in the 5D. We spend a lot of time, like, what's really going on, like, you know, on the deeper layers and levels. But here's a little snapshot picture of the 3D, the conscious awareness of the divine masculine at this time, and kind of what they're up against, what they're battling. So perhaps this message will be helpful for us to understand, to offer compassion, to also ultimately focus on ourselves, because they have their own mess to take care of. And that divine feminine energy can really, like I was sharing, can really work and operate on her own independently, you know, can really do it by yourself. You know, you can find the freedom, you can find the peace, you can find the love, you can find all that on your own. And that's what he's working on too, by your inspiration, by your lead feminine. So yeah, I think that's the reading. Way longer than I anticipated, but if you made it the whole way, many blessings. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your weekend. I will definitely be back soon.